Goal setting is not just about making a list of wishes. It's about crafting a roadmap for your future. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to set three different kinds of strategic goals, and then I'll have you pick one and walk you through the process that I use personally to achieve those goals. As a bonus, we're going to talk about how to create balance in your life as you seek to achieve these goals. I personally believe that work life balance is so hard to achieve because our work does not equal our life. I'm going to give you some strategies to help you keep in balance as you work towards setting these three very different types of strategic goals. Hello and welcome. Danette here. Thank you for joining us on the Shine First Today podcast. If you're interested in learning how to be highly productive without being stressed out, then you're in the right place. Please consider subscribing so that you can be informed when we release new episodes like this one. When I first started learning about strategic goals, I was taking a class and they taught the SMART goals framework. They said to set goals that were specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. If you saw our previous episode on SMART Goals Reframed, you'll see why I don't agree with that framework and why I think making goals like that ends up being a task list. At the time, I didn't know that, and so using that framework, I started to set strategic goals. I ended up with a list of about 15 goals. There is nothing strategic about 15 goals. What I was doing was identifying something that I wanted to achieve. In hindsight, the reason I struggled so much is that I was trying to fit the goals into that SMART goals framework. I was trying to make them achievable and realistic. And the fact is that if you want to try to accomplish something major, there has to be an element of the unknown in it. There has to be a little part of you that says, this would be great if it happens, but I don't know if I can do it or not. We will apply the maximum effort towards a goal that we only give ourselves a 50% chance of achieving. What that means is if we know for sure we can accomplish something, we won't try. If we don't think that there's any chance to accomplish something, we won't even try. A few episodes back, I redefined the SMART goals as being soul-fulfilling, movement of energy, amazing, rewarding, and time per day. Instead of saying, I'm going to accomplish this goal by a certain time, I asked you to say, how much time per day are you going to allocate towards achieving the goal? Very, very different. As I have you start to think about the three different types of goals that we're going to work on, I want you to think about the transformation that is going to happen in your life if you achieve that goal. What is the transformation that you're seeking to achieve when you have, be, or do the thing that you want to do? I'll give you a quick example here. Years ago, when I first started taking spiritual classes and going to spiritual retreats, I had an amazing meditation filled with beautiful imagery. When I went home and tried to write that down in my journal, I wanted to draw a picture of the imagery I had in my mind, and I simply couldn't do it. I didn't possess the skill of drawing. I could not draw. My mom is a beautiful artist. My sister is an amazing artist. It is just something that I couldn't do. So I wanted to learn how to draw because I wanted to be able to at least somewhat capture the images from my mind and put them down on paper. That's how I decided to pick a goal of wanting to learn how to draw. I thought there had to be a way for somebody to teach me some sort of conventions that I could follow to make my drawings better. It ended up being an amazing experience for me. Learning how to draw has completely changed my life in so many ways that I couldn't have even predicted. We did an episode on how an art class could change your life, and we will be sure to link to that at the end. Let's shift gears now and talk about work life balance. How are you doing with work life balance? Is this something you struggle with? Let us know in the comments how much of a challenge this is for you. I personally believe, as I said before, that our work and our life do not equal each other. I think that's why it's so hard to keep them in balance with each other because they don't equal each other. I believe that work is just a small part of our overall life. And instead of trying to balance them against each other, I try to keep myself in balance as I move through my work and as I move through my life. My friend Jamie Price talks about neutrality and keeping ourselves neutral. When we can be balanced and grounded, then as different things come at us, we can handle them easier because we are the ones in balance as we move through work and as we move through our life. If I can keep myself in balance, if I can stay present in the present moment, then I don't have stress. I don't have anxiety. I actually have confidence that I can accomplish the things that I want to accomplish as I move through the different aspects of my life. Now, let's get into choosing the three different types of strategic goals that we want to set for ourselves. The first type of strategic goal is that I want you to identify something in your life that is not working. What is happening in your life that is not going to plan, that is causing you frustration, that is causing you anxiety or stress or grief? A lot of times it's easier to start there, to start with what's not working. Whenever I'm dealing with any kind of an issue or situation, I always start with trying to ask myself, what about the situation isn't working? That for me is a very easy starting point because I'm usually really clear about what I don't want to have happen. To give you an example, what's not working for me right now is that I'm focused on too many different things. I have too many different distractions going on in my life during the workday. I feel like I'm multitasking constantly, and it's not my favorite way to work. I prefer working on one thing at a time. I prefer monotasking. Right now, I've created a situation for myself where I'm being pulled in a lot of different directions. That's the first step, and that's where the image came from. I did a meditation the other day, and in it, I had this image of myself being surrounded by this dark blob with a lot of different tentacles, and it was kind of hovering around me and surrounding me. And I felt like I was being pulled in a lot of different directions. I can sort of look calm and be calm on the outside, but feel like I'm being suffocated and surrounded by all of these different tasks. The reason I wanted to start with this is because the universe doesn't understand when we talk in the negative. The universe doesn't understand, I don't want something to happen. I don't want this. I don't want that. The universe only hears you saying the thing that you're talking about, and it thinks that that's what you want. We have to then reframe what we want the universe to give us in terms of the positive. I have to take the condition of not wanting to multitask, not wanting to work on so many different types of projects at the same time. And I need to reframe that into a positive. So, for my example, I would like to spend more time doing monotasking or serial monotasking, where I work on a project, finish it, and then move on to the next project and finish that. That is something that I desire. I feel like I get a better job done. I get a higher quality output, which is what I'm looking for, of course. For strategic goal number one, you're going to take the thing that's not working, turn it around, and reframe it into a positive statement. And I want you to think about, what transformation do you want to have take place? What will be the benefit to you of accomplishing this goal as stated in the positive? If you're in a place where you can write something down, I'd like you to pause here and take a minute and write down the first goal. Write down what you don't want, reframe it into the positive, and write a couple sentences about the transformation that'll take place. If you paused, then welcome back. Let's continue with strategic goal number two. For this goal, I want you to set a goal that is an inside goal. To me, that means ourselves, our physical self, our emotional self, our spiritual self, something that is just important to us as a person, as a human being. We're going to pick one of those three internal aspects of our life, and we're going to set a strategic goal. To give you an example, I'm going to choose to try to get my hiking legs back. A few years back, I started hiking and working out and doing a lot of exercising. During that period of time, I lost a lot of weight. Once I stopped exercising, all of the weight pretty quickly came back. One of my goals is to go hiking in Patagonia. And in order to do that, I have to get my hiking legs back. For this goal, then I just want you to focus on something that's internal, something personal to you. And if you're in a place where you can write it down, I want you to write down what the goal might be, but also don't forget to write about the transformation. How will your life be different if you accomplish the goal? What is it that you will gain by accomplishing the goal? So write down the transformation as well as the thing you want to achieve. Go ahead and pause here. And if not, we'll keep going. Let's move on to strategic goal number three. For this goal, we want to focus on the external aspects of our life. We want to focus on the outside. And it's like the opposite of the internal goals. So instead of the self, which we focused on for the internal side, we're going to focus on our relationships with others. Or maybe we want to travel. The other external aspect is our career or our business or our work. So you're going to look at the outside of your life and pick a goal there. What is something you want to accomplish there? For me, I'm going to focus on the podcast goal. I have a business goal of being consistent with the podcast itself. I actually have two podcasts because, hey, if you're going to do one, you might as well have two. And I was really struggling. So I hired a marketing coach. His name is Stuart Gald. He is absolutely amazing. I highly recommend him, and I will put a link to his information below. When I came to him, I was like the woman in the photo with the tentacles all over. I was trying to do everything. And he took a look at all the different things that I was trying to do. And he said, Danette, the first thing you have to do is be consistent. You have to do a consistent production schedule. And he helped me craft that one thing. My current external strategic goal is just to be consistent in making the podcast, just having them come out on the same day of the week, setting up a consistent process and schedule. Those are the three different types of goals that I'd like you to set. The first one is taking something that's not working in your life and reframe that into a positive. You know what you don't want, so now say, what is it that you do want? The second one is to focus on the internal aspect of your life, to focus on yourself. What is something you yourself want to have, be, or do? What do you want to accomplish for yourself? The third goal is an external aspect. What's something for your career or travel or a relationship? What is a goal for that? For each goal, write down not only what you hope to achieve, but what will the transformation in your life be when that thing happens? Now let's take a couple of minutes and go through a very quick and easy 4-step process that I use to bring these goals into physical reality. Right now, this goal is in your imagination. You're thinking of it, you're creating it, and we want to get it from your imagination into reality. The first thing that I do, step number one, is to give the goal a nickname, something that you can just think of in your mind and you know what that means. For example, for my first strategic goal, I want to work in a more focused way. I want to work on one project at a time. I'm going to nickname that goal focus. The key here is to just have fun with it. Give it a nickname. For step number two, we want to launch this goal. We want to start the process of bringing it out of your imagination and into physical form. And the easiest way to do that is to launch the goal by just sitting in a quiet space for 10 to 15 minutes with no distractions and just sit and visualize the goal as if it has already happened. How will your life be different if this thing that you want to have, be, or do has already happened? I want you to feel the positive emotion of what is that going to feel like when you have accomplished that goal? Act as if it has already happened. Step number three is how much time are you going to dedicate to achieving the goal? I want you to put a specific date, time per week, time per day that you're going to allocate towards achieving this goal. We've already talked about that this goal that you're setting is going to be life changing. How much time are you willing to invest? For my FitBod goal, eating the first hour of my day towards accomplishing this goal. That means I get up every morning and I work out. I get on the treadmill, I exercise, or I do yoga. I'm doing something towards achieving the goal and I say it to myself. I reinforce it. I'm dedicating an hour of my day to accomplishing this goal. And it's funny that at different times of the day, I'm reminded of that statement that I'm dedicating myself to doing something, and it's helping me make other choices that are also good for me. This is going to be life changing for you. So create a specific time per day or per week that you're going to focus your energy on achieving this goal. Step number four is really the fun part of achieving the goal. It's the actual, I'm going to do the things that it needs to take to happen. It's going to be the physical part of bringing it from your imagination into reality. And what you're going to do here is at the beginning of your time block, you're going to visualize what it is that you want to achieve. You're going to visualize the transformation that it's going to have in your life. And then you're going to just wait and see what thoughts come into your mind about the next step. It's going to show up to you in a lot of different ways. You might be inspired to go to a website. You may be inspired to send an email to someone. You might, in the course of your week or your day, receive an email from someone that it helps you move this goal forward. It's so interesting how you co-create with the universe when you're crystal clear about these strategic goals. And it's one of the things that I love about dedicating time per day to accomplishing something because we don't know how long it can take. If we're giving a little bit of our energy every single day, then the goal is going to happen for us faster. It's so important to note that you're not up against an artificial deadline. We've created these three goals for ourselves. They are in balance, they're in harmony. And now we're going to get to enjoy the process of bringing them from our imagination, bringing them into reality, bringing them into physical form. I hope you have so much fun with this. Do me a favor and leave one of your strategic goals in the comments. Give us your nickname, write a little description, write about the transformation you're hoping to achieve, and let's cheer each other on. I will link to the art episode where an art class changed my life, as well as the SMART Goals episode. And thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for listening. I so appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode.